Hi Capricorn. Alright, welcome to this place if you're new here, and welcome back if you're returning. So, this reading, the intention is to help those that wish to be helped. Hopefully to make life a little bit easier. Let's choose an oracle card to start for good measure. Let's see what's going on, Capricorn. Okay. Aimlessness. Let's read about that. Oh, I felt a little bit of this energy in the beginning. I don't know if it's an extreme. It depends where you're at, but I felt this kind of like, yes, no, like, okay, it's this, and then no, it's that, and then, but I didn't personally feel a lot of anxiety around it, but, so let's just touch on this, because you're actually last on the roster this month, so a bit of contemplation could be helpful. So Capricorn, this card represents a release from desire. It also gives opportunity for spiritual growth. And I feel like your 12th house is highlighted if you're aware of that. Now, the shadow of this is where there's lacking some kind of direction. It can even go as deep as like hopelessness, apathy, depression, like not really enjoying the ride. And in this deck, it can represent a little bit of dark night of the soul. Now, again, I don't know who this is for, but when a person is in this space, you know, again, these readings are for those who need them the most. Now, this card is also linked to Saturn, your ruler. And so whatever the difficulty is, the severity of that depends on, I guess, how much one has been acknowledging where they feel lost about something, you know, and, you know, usually to me, your energy is very driven. It's like, okay, you're the one that's always making the plan. You're the one that's always handling all the responsibilities. You're the one, you know, that's doing so much. But this could very well be where someone feels drained because of how much they've been doing, and that where the leader, to some extent, like, well, someone wants someone else to help. Someone needs some guidance, basically, or someone to take the wheel. You know, it's like, my eyes are tired, like. So when this card shows up, what we're talking about is, and you're recorded on the same day as Aries, okay? Maybe that's important to you. It says, when this card arises, there's an acknowledgement of feelings that's necessary, specifically having to do with sadness, depression, or like hopeless kind of drifting, okay? It says, please understand that this passage through this darkness, and this is 12th house energy too, that it's necessary for growth. And there's a need to kind of like, how do I explain it? It's like, this is a looking inward energy, okay? And please allow yourself to just kind of feel the here and now. And I feel like this is the key point for you, is that aimlessness, like feeling sad, feeling down, acknowledging the shadow and what doesn't feel good is not unproductive. Because sometimes aimlessness brings a lot of, like, sadness, what have you. This uncomfortable energy actually brings a person a lot of faith, right? And that that sometimes we are on the right, exactly on the right path, even if we're in the midst of the deepest, darkest night. Again, depending on the severity of this, whether this is just like, I don't know where this is going, or I don't know where I'm going, or I don't have the answers to something, or again, I feel super depressed, sad, scared. You know, all of this is an opportunity for spiritual growth, and maybe a part of it is that there's something, I have to take off my shoes, there's something that's like an old part of you. You know, I tend to find that Capricorn energy, however strong it is, if it's honest, all Saturnian folks have threads of like sadness in them, and it's very deep in their soul. So those of you who have also overcome depression, or again some really low spot, you could be feeling that where you're like on the edge of something. But I see you don't have to be afraid of it. It's like maybe it's just releasing something that's a bit toxic. You know, like releasing a bit of the bad spirit some way, somehow. Let's see. 8 of Pentacles. Hold on. Well, okay. I see. Capricorn's tendency to me is I'm going to push through this. I'm going to work through this. And you can, I heard, and you will. But you see this person here with a halo around their head. Okay, reading a very ancient text. This is, because you know what? You know when we get into a heavy space? I mean, honestly, this could just be like, fuck, I don't know what's going on with work. Or like, I don't know what's going on with my marriage. Or like, feeling low about something. That acknowledgement actually what's happening here is it's solidifying some kind of lesson. It's like lining it all up and realizing that even when one is in the midst of darkness, they are never alone. And maybe this goes into one's spiritual space, is what is being actually worked through here. Okay? But this couldn't be something that like, I don't know, like kind of push through. And maybe this is now a little bit, even if it's not like you're not fully feeling this, but it's like the background energy could be now until like August, where there's a little bit of questioning. But I actually see 8 of Pentacles shows me here that your work, because I know you're very concerned about the physical, tangible world. Work is very solid here. You don't have to worry about that. I see Spirit gave you some... Spirit is that's not the point of the worry. Oh, I see. If you're sweating your job right now, Capricorn, like your money, your physical world, that is not the issue. That is not the issue. The issue is it's a spiritual space. It's an emotional space. And it could be one of those things where, like, you know how I see someone where they're like, okay, they got heaviness, internal struggle or strife, and they just like work to not feel like they do, you know, to not feel. They like put their head down. I mean, I heard we got to go to work every, you know, well, at least 6 days a week. Maybe some of you are working 8 days straight. Like, that could very well be what's burning a person out too. I see, remember, I heard keep this Sabbath holy, right? Like, if you want to work 6 days a week, you can, but don't work 7 days a week, and certainly, please don't work 8 days a week. You know, 8 days straight or something like that. Whatever you do, you want to make sure you're taking some time to sit with yourself, even if it's really uncomfortable. Because this is actually going to help you to figure out what the direction is. Okay, let's keep going. Capricorn. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable. Aries had the same energy, which is Very good. Let's see. Two of Wands. Okay. You see how there's like these two people here? You know, because the thing is with this aimlessness card, if you look at their face, to me, they're contemplative, sure. There's a little quiet in there, but they're not like sobbing. This isn't, there's some kind of faith in this card. It's just sort of contemplative. You know, it's like, it's kind of suggesting to be, well, I heard, Spirit, what do you want from me? Like, or Spirit, what do I need to do? Like, maybe you want to talk to you, to say that, like, because you know how that we say that, like, oh, he's in good spirits, she's in good spirits. And sometimes, most of the time, I would assume a person is the Fool. But, you know, that low spot, when we get out of it, it is so enlightening, right? We're like, oh my God, I just learned like this great lesson. You know? And it gives a person like a new, I heard it gives new floors in the house. You know, where it's something to that feels solid, that a person can, Pisces is the feet, Pisces is the 12th house. It's like, there's something, but you know what? I would assume if you do deal with depression for some reason, if this is like in your nature, you know, like apart, you know, that's what I'm talking about, then this is also having a bit of better boundaries with the depth of how far you fall down the hole. You know, because this is also, I'm seeing like spiritual protection, or Spirit's not gonna, it reminds me of the inner child pick a card reading we did, the blue card, the last one. Because your second eighth house is being emphasized. So plainly put, what this represents is a person's like, well, a person's beliefs are being highlighted, and it may be one of those things where someone just like in this moment is like, I don't know if I believe in myself, you know, like it could even be like, oh, I don't know about this job, or like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. But I'm telling you, the physical world is not an issue. It's just wanting someone to acknowledge okay, I heard that, I saw that saying where it's just like, give it to God, right? Aries talked about this a long time ago. Your sadness, your sorrow, your guilt, your shame, all the way down the line, we all have it, right? It's like, I think naturally the human is going to be like, well, give it to God. It's like, why would anyone want to feel like it's a gift to feel shitty, you know, to like feel like deeply contemplative, I guess. But I guess that's part of the soul's, what the soul wants right now. Because in the end, what it does is it gives a person a whole new perspective on what it is they have been doing. Maybe even more confidence to like, You know, because again, to me, you are, I'm going to go, I'm going to do it, I'm going to handle all this. Like you hold a lot of weight, right? And that's heavy. That could very well be it. And it's like, because I'm seeing where, like, look, this face is almost like the same face as this one, right? But this one actually then picks its chin up. So maybe you want to ask yourself, like, again, I heard someone say, Spirit, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And then I saw the words feel. It's just like, okay. Because you know what? This card, for some reason, even though it talks about the dark night of the soul, depression, sadness, apathy, all this. This card, I'm telling Capricorn, to me, you're basically the strongest sign in the zodiac. In a way, you are one of the strongest signs because you never give up. You don't. Even when it is at the, like, the deepest, darkest depths. You deal with things inside of you that, like, well, I guess in a way, only Spirit and you probably know the depths of that. Right? So maybe you want to, if you do get into this energy and it feels like, again, you start questioning too much of the physical world and you can't seem to shift that in your brain. Well, maybe you want to go back and think about what you have achieved up until this point. And the times that you have been really, really, really low and you worked your way out of that, not only by yourself, but by, I heard, by the grace of God, right? Where it's just like, man, somebody had to come in and help me in that situation because there's no way I could have done that all by myself. You know, like, again, you're strong. I heard you're strong as a bull, but like, and you know, I feel like this is releasing something of an old nature or like an old part of you. You know, again, if you're a person that deals with depression, it's like someone's starting to figure out more about, again, not having someone's nature be, I could actually see that this could be a very powerful, like, part of your chart astrologically, like, again, the nature of how someone's set up, but where they finally are like, wait a second, it's like they're adjusting something so that it doesn't affect them so much. And again, your 2nd and 8th house are highlighted if you want to look at that. Now, now, I could see that this could be where someone could, like, lose... Well, I see someone, like, losing their head. So what are we talking about? Okay, for instance, let's go back to the job thing. It's like, even though that's not the issue, that's not the issue. I heard even if you're in a dead-end job, that's not the issue. It's more like, then it would be like, well, what do you want to do? You know, what's your skill set? You know, things like that. But I could see, like, don't think, for instance, like, because I could see someone scrapping something so quickly where they're just like, say they feel down and they're like, fuck this, fuck that, all right, but that's not what's being wanted here. What's wanted is faith. I heard I'll get out of this. Like, I heard I've always gotten out of this. I can handle this. And that which you can't. 5 of Cups. I heard Phil. I saw someone fill a bucket full of tears. And then they went outside and watered a rose with it. Because maybe what this is, and this actually came through Aries reading too. Let's see, the moon, yes. Again, this is an emotional thing. So if something doesn't make sense, I heard try not to take that so personally right now. Because there's like a, I mean, for lack of a better term, this is like a spiritual, like another stage of awakening, right? People talk about the dark night of the soul. It was coined by St. John the Cross in the 13th century. This process does not happen only once. It happens many times through life where we fall to the bottom of the pit. We can't seem to keep, contain all of whatever has happened for years or months or decades or whatever. And then, especially with you can hold a lot of the past inside of your body. And I feel like Sagittarius's reading would be helpful. It's like you can hold it in your body and no one can know. It's like, now I suppose since you love practicality, although I see your job being fine, it's like maybe just in this time frame, some of you are like, again, you're questioning something, but I wouldn't just scrap it. Remember, this is more of an internal, like, what's going on with romance? What's going on with your friendships? What's going on with your mother? What's going on with your I don't feel like your money's an issue. Embarking. No, this is so Piscean, like 12th house energy. Which, remember, this is the High Priestess, 6 of Swords. Remember, the 12th house is the house of the bad spirit. So in this time, you're releasing something about that. Queen of Swords, yes. And maybe Knight of Pentacles, maybe it's something that's been in there for a long time. Like stuck, or you didn't even realize that it was there, and then all of a sudden, again, it's like someone could be in an awesome place, right? Like everything's, say we go this way, like everything's good, everything's great, which it is. I got all these opportunities, but it's kind of like this could creep up and make a person question themselves so much. But remember, it's just emotional. It's just emotional. It's okay. I know it's not the easiest energy for especially a lot of you here actually have Capricorn moon. And it's because you do to love, right? That's how you show a lot of your love, is by what you do for others and the energy and effort you put through. And we talked about this last month, where it's kind of like, again, you're always holding it together and people don't really realize like how hard you work and how much you put aside emotionally to be able to like handle what needs to be handled like every single day, and like paying the bills and doing all the things. And it's just like, underneath it, it's like, I heard, why does no one understand how I feel? Or like give you what you need emotionally. And I suppose a part of the lesson here is you figuring out what's up with your emotion, because this is a very big line of shadow here. The moon and the 5 of Cups is hidden is hidden sadness. And I feel like maybe something bubbled, you know, it bubbled up, or it's bubbling up on the side. And so, but I need you to know that you're protected or safe enough to, and you come out of this, look, you come out of all of this shadow. This is a person of great wisdom and great faith, right? Because all this shadow here, all this sadness, is ignoring it would be ignorance, right? You're not, there's no. And it's not being ignored. It can't be. It really can't be. So whatever's uncomfortable, please just be like, feel it. I heard cry that bucket of tears and then water the roses. And in the end, where do you end up? 9 of Cups. Which is being happy with yourself. It's happy about what you learned. It's emotional satisfaction to an extent, like within a person. And here's 3 of Cups, which is then friendships get better, because I guess a person understands more about themselves emotionally, so they can also express. Hangman. Like, there's that 12th house again. It's like, you know, because what does this 12th house mirror back down to? The 6th house of karma, right? Both the 6th and the 12th house are karma, so it's like, it's not about blaming oneself or blaming anyone else. It's just getting to know a person getting to know themselves better. Wheel of Fortune. So that something can shift emotionally, so that the world that someone's wanting is more emotionally in tune, right? It's in this, whatever this heaviness is not being held so much, you know, because with the moon, this could go all the way back. And 5 of Cups to me, this is also sadness from childhood. Sorry to bring it up. I know it's heavy, but we're in Gemini time, which rules the children. So it's like, you know, because I feel like Capricorns to me had to be adults, especially Capricorn moon, but Capricorn in general, like, had to be an adult when they were very young, you know? It's like you had to be like, oh, popped out of the womb, okay, I'm a toddler, all right, now I'm a king. Now I'm the King of Pentacles, okay? And it's just like, well, I heard, where's the love? You know, like, and then I heard someone say, I can handle it. I heard again, cry. I saw that bucket of tears. You know, roses need to be drenched. They like to be drenched. They don't want just a little bit of water. They want a whole bunch of water. So for something to grow and bloom, especially having to do with roses or love, then some kind of again, emotion or water has to be shed. I heard not shed, not just like off your back though, not like water off your back like a duck. It's like it comes from within. And that creates some sort of buoyancy, which helps a person not sink. You know, it helps keep something feel more safe, you know. The Lovers and the King of Swords, yeah. Also in communication, having to do with how a person feels, you know. fascinating. We have Libra and Taurus energy here, or air and earth energy, which are both kind of cold, so it wants to be warmer. Three of Pentacles. Who had that? Pisces. Because, you know, this isn't figuring out an answer even to, like, because, again, someone could be so sad, or, like, all this emotion is like, wow, I don't know what's going on. But it actually, I mean, again, you could pinpoint it if you wanted to, I guess. You could attach it to something and be like, okay, whatever comes up. But it's not exactly about figuring out the answer, intellectually trying to handle it or whatever. It's just acknowledging and releasing something. And I actually see that Saturn is helping you by giving you some kind of boundary so that it doesn't, like, you're not going to drown in this 12th house. When Saturn's actually in the 12th house, no enemies will ever overcome you. You know? Nothing, no enemy can destroy you, secret enemy or otherwise. Okay? It's actually a very exalted place, so they say, for Saturn to be, so you don't have to worry about drowning if you no temperance. And actually, I feel like Sagittarius's reading would be very helpful, especially those who are working through, we talked about this on Patreon, but like the energy that's being awakened and then released out of the body, which hides, I heard, deep in the mind. And especially if any of you feel like you are in a dark night of the soul kind of energy, or again, there's some deeper shift, like I saw someone turn a faucet on, it was like, whoa, like all the water came out. I mean, some of you could just be, part of your sadness, again, could be the fact that, like, someone's always here taking the reins, handling everything, being the boss, like, doing all the things that need to be done, and they're just like, oh my God, why does no one else have any direction? You know? But I guess that goes back into acknowledging how one has to acknowledge the fact that, like, it's like, well, I mean, I guess that's a little bit of a control thing when we don't let anyone else take the wheel, or we're always at the wheel even though we're falling asleep. You know? I heard, let the dishes pile up. It's okay. Yeah, Ace of Cups. And I heard, I need this from you. I need this from you. Six of Swords. Pisces talked about this transit energy. I feel like you're in the same place. And I need you to remember that this 12th house energy, in a sense, kind of represents, like, you can feel like you're in a prison. You know, it can feel, like, confining. But what it wants is, there's some kind of hidden key in the water. What's actually, once this is all released, what happens is, I guess, Two of Cups. You know? I heard it doesn't have as much relevance to the past anymore. Like, there's new energy. You know, it's not transferred over to these other relationships, or, like, I don't know, affects your money or whatever. Fascinating. High Priestess. Well, I guess that's that. Alright, I hope this was helpful. How many cards do we have, just for curiosity's sake? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's a full cycle. So whatever this energy is, closes out. You're not going to stay stuck here forever. And depending, again, regardless of the severity of it, because this I could see could be real deep, or it feels like that. Or it could just be, again, little bits of frustration. But whatever it is, something comes full circle. Three of Cups, and all this, then the emotions of it, the feeling of it becomes something that's joyful. Yes, Four of Wands, right? This is happy. It's good friendships. It's good relationships. It's feeling good about home. It's feeling good about family. It's all the things. But something got to get, I heard something's got to shake loose to make it happen. Okay. Wow. I hope this was helpful, Capricorn. Please take care of yourself. And you know, lastly, I'm pretty experienced with depression. If you are in this really shadow dense place, not that you're not meant to feel, but like if it feels like you're just falling down the endless pit and you can't seem to shift it, say after like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. And there could be, I see waves during the day, but like if this has been, I don't know, if this builds too much or again it feels too deep, please make sure you're getting at least 20 minutes of exercise a day, like sunshine, like somewhere outside, out of the doors, out in the world, right, out in nature. 20 minutes. Okay. I love you so much. I hope this was helpful. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.